Welcome back to the 2022 South Florida Open. This is the MPO lead card in round 2, back 9. We're playing at Markham Park today, and I'm Andrew Fish, joined by Nick Hanson.
Hey folks, how we doing today? On a day like today, I'm wishing I was there.
You see a nice little overhead shot from one of the courses in play. That's Snyder Park and Fort Lauderdale, Miami. All the South Florida life just out to play.
Yeah, it was nice to live that life for a week.
Yeah, for sure. Got Paul McBeth, Garrett Gurthie, Thomas Gilbert, and yourself on this round 2 lead card. How's it feel, Nick?
It feels good to be out there playing and, playing with the big guys.
Yeah, for sure. And anytime you get the opportunity to be on an A-Tier lead card, you take it, right?
Definitely. And here we are at hole 10. It's a 630-foot par 4. Players are just needing to get out of the gap to then have an open approach at the hole. If you come in too high, you can see you get knocked down by the trees there. But should be a relatively easy birdie for this card.
Yeah, this is the first par 4 on the course. And priority number 1 is get out this gap. You don't have to go super far past. Garrett throws a nice little overstable distance driver. That'll put himself in a pretty playable hyzer range for his second. Paul doing about the same. Doesn't hug the left side nearly as much. And Nick, that's kind of the mistake you can't make.
Yeah, unfortunately there, it's a bad time for a little bit of a grip block and going to be out of bounds very early. Thomas's roller getting stuck in the fence.
In the fence. Did y'all determine that was inbounds? I assume so, since it's on the good side of the fence.
Yeah, definitely inbounds still, I would say. Just interesting. You don't really see stuff like that very often.
Yeah, for sure. So you've got a tricky lie here where you can only take your meter off the fence. Taking any more relief only puts you closer to the fence. Kind of no way to win that battle. You do a good job to get yourself out on your third shot.
Paul here making it look pretty easy there, and Thomas having a similar issue with the fence. Going with the high hyzer though.
Yeah, touches some of the trees on the right side, but still no problem putting the hyzer up to 15 feet or so. Garrett back to that Firebird that he's been throwing so well. And
hey,
Plinko to further away.
Kind of hit and just drop for him. Might have been a little bit past.
The placement of this basket relative to the palm trees is kind of neat. As you saw, Garrett put it in, basically going towards pin high. Thomas and Paul came in a little bit early, and I feel like that's a little bit of the risky way to do this, because you can easily get dropped down at circle's edge or so. But if you're able to throw something that kind of gets its distance and then stalls left a little bit long of the basket, you get a lot more open space with no potential of hitting the palms. You're going to get in for bogey.
Yep.
And that's going to leave Thomas for bird. And Paul to do the same. So 3 birdies on the card. We're going to go to another par 4 on 11. What are we looking at, Nick?
Yeah, hole 11 is actually 2 holes that are combined. It's a 730-foot par 4. Players are throwing a roller or a large over-the-top shot to get in position to then throw your second shot here. OB along the entire left side there, and we also have the OB on the right with the fence.
I think this was a pretty good change. I know that in last year's tournament, as we see Garrett just, putting down a wraith roller with a ton of speed left on it, even in that thick grass. I feel like this is a good change because the 2 holes that were played last year that are combined for this par 4 were very similar. You kind of threw the stock hyzer, one angle about 350 or so.
And Paul choosing the up and over route. It's going to be in a good spot there to get up and down for birdie.
Yeah, he's going to have a much straighter approach, a little longer than what Garrett has. Thomas is trying to just go hyzer and throw it over the trees that kind of line the middle of the fairway. And turns it over a little too much. Fortunate to drop safe.
Yeah, drop back in bounds there. He's been flirting with that fence a bunch here on these last couple holes.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to do that.
Go, baby, go!
You're going roller, and you'll kind of be over there by Paul. Was that kind of what you were envisioning off of that shot?
Yeah, the goal is to try and get to the tee pad there with the roller, I would say, and I just had better success with the roller over an air shot, so with grass being mowed, that's what we did.
For sure. Thomas, nicely done. Y'all likely can't see the basket or very much of it. It's kind of hidden behind the electrical box, but if you land immediately to the right side of it, you're at 30 feet, no problem.
Yeah, some great shots here back to back.
And you've done well to give the distance, not quite the width, but still inside the circle. That's got to feel good after a little bit of struggle on the previous several holes, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just want to try and get back on course as soon as possible. And here we are. Garrett, unfortunately, finding the OB deep.
Yeah, he pays for his good drive. If he had thrown it a little worse, he wouldn't be out of bounds now. Come that putt in.
It's a good way to save par, though.
Yeah, par's not hurting you. He's 3 down through the round, and as we saw on our opening scoreboard for this 9, nobody was really killing it. 4 or 5 is about as good as folks are doing.
Yeah, this course is surprisingly not as scoreable as you would think. And you can really get, a couple bad holes in a row can really set you apart from even having a decent round.
Yeah, I was kind of conceptualizing it for myself. And it's bad to do this during the round, but it's helpful sometimes when you're planning your round. Tell us about hole 12 quick.
Hole 12 is an addition to this here. Very tight off the tee there, as you can see. And then slowly fading to the right at the end. A pretty tricky and technical par 3 here at 300 feet.
Yeah, very critical to get through the initial gap. Not a whole lot of birdies coming on it, but a ton of bogey strokes. Thomas with the FX2 forehand. Shapes a little more naturally for a forehand, I think. So I was conceptualizing all of the holes out here as either being really easy. We saw a couple straight putter shots, or really, really, really bonus. And we'll see a little bit more of that on the back, where the hole distances and the shapes and the ceiling kind of conspire to make that perfect shot, to make the degree of difficulty between a good shot and a great shot pretty stark.
Yeah. Yeah, the back nine gets pretty interesting as you continue along. This being probably the shortest hole on the back nine.
Yeah, I think so, by, probably 50 feet or more. Paul, is he going to go for this? Hot nonsense.
The roll really wasn't as bad as you would have thought it might be, so, maybe that's why he's okay with that.
Yeah, maybe. He's also Paul McBeth and has a 4-stroke lead, so green light. Thomas unable to convert. The basket placement here is, you see it on the mound, but it's also set kind of on the front side of the mound. So anything that's chain high is liable to pick up speed as it goes down the hill.
What were you doing on this hole yourself?
Oh, man. I threw it directly into one of the first trees and kicked right to a spot where I had to throw a forehand roller that went across the fairway. And from there, I was able to save a bogey. And it was one of the better feeling bogeys of my day. In reality, I think getting through the gap is more critical. And I only got in one practice round. That's my fault. Playing it again, I think I would throw a very similar shot, but I'd worry less about the birdie and more about like hitting the fairway, getting myself to a spot where 3 was guaranteed and 2 would be nice.
Garrett picking up a nice birdie there, and we'll get on to hole 13. 619-foot par 4. You see the water on the left there. A very tricky hole, as once you get to the green, it's significantly uphill, and the green is, or the basket itself is sitting right on a ridge there. Where if you're up top, you're good, but if you're a little short, you've got a likely chance of rolling away.
This hole is a real doozy. Like the landing zone is pretty small and skinny. It plays faster than many of the other holes out here. Paul giving the forehand the width. And that's well done.
Yeah, you want to be further on that left side, but it's just hard to push it with throwing either a backhand or a sidearm.
Definitely. The closer you are to the water, the better your angle to get into the green. Because once you punch the gap, you still have to be, climbing to get up the hill or to get close enough to it to putt. So as y'all track over to this right side, it kind of makes you have to throw a roller or some kind of forehand skip shot.
We've got Garrett doing exactly that.
This is well landed. Oh, man.
That was going to run right up that hill, too.
Yeah, you see the flipping of the disc where he lands it with cut and is going to let the speed take it and turn it. You're going to play the responsible pitch out, leading to a forehand. And that's a tricky spot. Like, you'll have a look, but still from circle 2, huh?
Yep. One of those ones where you need to be right before those trees.
Thomas also going for the big forehand, but pushes a little too straight. He's going to get dropped down kind of near you. Paul with a Raptor. You see the body language. He knows he sawed that off a little bit early.
I think the forehand in is the best approach with skipping into the hill, but as you can see, it's pretty hard to even get through that gap at the opening.
Yeah, the gap is really fair, but from how far back you are, like, you have to get in bounds, which means you can't bite off too much on the tee shot, which means that your second has to be all about getting into the gap. And, you kind of solve the problem once you've gone through. You make an honorable attempt. Paul he dinks to the right side, which is good.
That's definitely the side to miss too. You miss left and you're down that hill again.
Yeah. Thomas is a tall guy, but this is still twice as tall as he is. And well done to grab the bird. The man is on a tear right now.
He is playing well in this back nine, and with that birdie, he's probably gaining strokes on most of the field.
Yeah, I can say there was one birdie on the chase card. So his closest competition that he can't see directly isn't doing that much. You're going to be in for the bogey. And, I think that pitch out was probably the right golf play. It just kind of stings to have made that choice and not be able to convert. Is there, tell us about this hole and then tell us how you come back from that.
Hole 14 here is straight shot, 348 feet. With the OB on the left there, if you come in a little too hot, really just a straight shot here that lands softly at the end.
Yeah, having power is a luxury here because it means you can throw mid-range. Throwing a fairway or distance driver to keep it low and get the distance runs the risk of kind of going long, not more than 20, 25 feet beyond the basket, and left is out of bounds.
And Thomas got through quite a ways on that right side. Garrett catching early, though, and he'll be knocked down.
Oh, this looks like a buzz to me, just the rim configuration. And he spins it well, traveling flat. Looks like, I mean, it was well thrown, but he's still going to be 60 short.
Yeah, a little low there, unfortunately. It had good speed, though. Myself here, and I'm throwing a mid-range, or not a mid-range, but a fairway driver, so a little faster.
Trying to get it to pop up to flat, maybe trickle over to the right side. That's your vision.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with flirting with that OB because I was like, if I go OB past the basket, I'm going to be taking a circle 3.
Yeah. Garrett pitches out. He's going to have a putt, but certainly longer than you want on a relatively straightforward par 3. McBeth, right side, air ball. And that's a killer.
Yeah, he's going to roll out of bounds there.
What was the crowd energy like at this point? Like, were people just looking for good shots? Were they actively rooting for McBeth? Like, what did they feel about that putt going out of bounds?
I think in a setting like this, I mean, a lot of times you have the Paul McBeth fans there, so you have that significant energy specifically for him. But
Yeah.
I would say the crowd was good overall, and they were energetic for everybody.
Yeah. And bummer there as you try to spin your polecat in.
Yeah, a little bit of a tricky lie there, but okay with getting the 3 on this one. This is one on the back 9 you almost want to get just because there's not that many to get.
Right.
So,
yeah,
unfortunate, but we'll take the 3.
Yeah, it's a bummer to have thrown such a good shot. You know, get yourself inside the circle and then kind of be penalized for it. Paul in for his 4. So I asked a minute ago about, like, what is it like for you when you make the golf play and it doesn't pay off? Like, do you just tell yourself the process is right?
Yeah. All right, we're back at hole 15 here. Par 4, 487 feet. This gap right here is the one that you need to hit. If you can lay it in there and actually get one to penetrate a ways, you can get yourself a look at 2, possibly. But getting through that gap is the most challenging part, I would say. But back to your point, Fish, I would say that I'm okay with taking the bogey there because I got myself a putt. I hit the basket on my putt, but, you know, I just obviously didn't connect. So I'm okay with the bogey. And holy smokes, Thomas almost getting all the way up there, like I said. He'll probably be within 90 to 100 feet of the basket.
Yeah, that's big. This is definitely one of the easier par 4s on the course. And notice the difference in how you and Thomas have approached this. He tries to throw an Anheuser and draw it through the gap moving. You're going with the Heiser flip. And give me 4 words about that reaction off of a stump, a rock. What is that?
I honestly don't know what that hit just now. That's unfortunate is what it is. Looks like Garrett's going to air his a little bit too much and get into those same bushes I'm in.
Yeah, the right side is really tricky here because, like, you're close to the basket. You've done 2/3 of the distance, but at that point, the angle is just rotten. Paul not finishing quite quickly enough, but he does drop down in bounds and quick plays it. Sometimes Paul gets does go quick when he's a little annoyed. And this looks like it has to be a pitch out. Is that you or
Yep.
Garrett? You both throw orange putters.
Yeah, that's myself there. So yeah, both of us actually getting in here pretty deep.
All right, and then the half-speed forehand. Speed is really critical here. We're again on a mound with a low ceiling.
And Thomas with the easy pitch up there. That's how the hole's played, folks.
Yeah, very much what you want. Paul in. Gets his birdie.
And another hole here at this course on the back nine where if you're off the fairway, you find yourself in quite a bit of trouble with both Garrett and myself having to pitch out.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one's kind of a tease. Like it's so easy and straightforward when it works, but boy, you and Garrett found out the hard way that, you know, being a little off is pretty bad. We're going to go into a real punishing finishing stretch here on 16, 17, 18. So getting 15 is key.
Here we are at hole 16. It's 373 feet, par 3. There's a low ceiling and the road on the left that is OB. Players are probably going to be throwing a mix of sidearm and rollers.
Thomas with the power shot, trying to flip up a forehand, but pushes it too straight. Did y'all talk about what you were doing? Like, was this a card where, you know, you talked about the gameplay?
Not a lot, I would say. There was some chatter on the card, but it was kind of non-disc golf related, I feel like, most of the time.
Yeah. These late season events, I think everyone's, you know, they like playing disc golf. They're excited to be out here, but, you know, it's nice just to be thinking about going fishing or whatever other non-disc golf things you're getting into the rest of the year. See some good flippy plays on the rollers out of McBeth and then Gurthie.
Yeah, Gurthie getting deep is actually very impressive on this one.
Looks like you're going to go roller as well. How are you conceptualizing this shot?
Really just trying to get it down to the ground hard. And a little bit of a high release there, so it never really got to the ground.
Uh-huh.
But I felt like if I got it on the ground at a good angle, it would curl back at the end. And fortunately, we were just too high with the release.
Yeah. So that's going to leave a forehand from about 200. Certainly more than you want.
Yeah, not ideal when you're trying to get birdies on this back stretch here.
No. But you do well to avoid the big number. And Garrett and Paul both unable to connect. You see the body language from both of those guys seems a little frustrated.
Both very much wanting those putts back.
Yeah. And I think the most difficult part about this hole is how blind the basket is. You can only see the trees on the left side, so you kind of have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 down and know that that's the distance you want. Let's look at Adam Durham here. Chase card, just on fire.
That sidearm of his is nice to watch.
Oh, it's smoke. It's also this putt, dude. Like, fearless spin putting.
Oh, money. Just was at the same height the entire way. Dead straight on.
Yep. Cool guy. Doesn't look at explosions. Wears his sunglasses. And we see him here on hole 18. And this is to go 7 down in his second round. I saw all of it. It was super clean, and that's going to put him on the lead card for the final round at 12 down overall.
And here we are at hole 17, 420-foot par 3. Players will be teeing from a small space that's considered inbounds, but basically out of bounds, with the road on the left out of bounds the entire way. Once again, probably going to see forehand or rollers here. Thomas up first.
And if you watch Gatekeeper's coverage of the 2021 South Florida Open, Thomas made a similar mistake, just popping a disc up too much and turning it into the left side.
Yeah, that's not a good start there. There is a drop zone that he will advance to, but it's not much further up the fairway.
Garrett gonna go roller. As we know, he's more comfortable with that shot than he is trying to throw the power forehand. And lands it just over the road, gets the slow grass to flip up. And that'll put him circle's edge, maybe 40 feet.
Yeah, he just throws that roller so well. It's fun to watch. He's got it mastered, I would say.
Yeah, it's really neat to see players who, we think about Garrett throwing big drives, but he's also got, other things to complement the big backhand. The roller, that goes right, that plays for the low ceiling shots. And
Thomas catching the trees on the left side there.
yeah, after playing probably the cleanest round out of this entire card, running into some real trouble here on 17. Were you thinking of this as a bonus hole?
This was definitely a bonus hole.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little deep there on my approach.
Paul, high right side, won't stick for him. Certainly not on a Prodigy basket. Those reward center hard putts, not the high right, and not the low left.
Thomas, unfortunate miss there.
Garrett with the stepper in the pocket. That's huge.
Just back corner birdie, folks. Gotta love those.
Your comeback putt. You see a little bit of activity in the background, but no trouble.
Yep. Saving par is not bad, but playing with these guys, you need to be getting birdies. So they're going to tap theirs in here. We'll be on to hole 18, the last hole of the day. It's a 480-foot par 4. Players are going to be throwing out over the road and through about here before they approach the green. The green does have some slant going up to it, so if you land a little short, you'll have an uphill putt. A hole that's pretty straightforward, but plays a little tricky, I feel like.
Not surprising to see Garrett go back to the roller. He lands it in the grass, pretty much vertical at that point, so he makes the right mistake. He doesn't have to get all the distance. All he has to do is get it inbounds. Paul going with the air shot, overturns it a little bit, so he'll be well back, probably with something in the neighborhood of 350 to go. Are you going roller or backhand?
I'm going with the roller here off the tee, just trying to get some distance and have it be right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this play. There's a lot more room on the right side than it initially appears, and the hill kind of slows you down. So is that in the woods, or is that,
Yeah,
still
it
open?
actually, yep, it rolled a little too far. We're going to be in the woods over there, unfortunately. But that was the play, roll it up that little hill a little bit, and it shouldn't go too far, but too much speed and got over it.
Paul with a big forehand. Gonna carry the out of bounds, probably dig in the slow grass, but that'll give him a look. 25, 28 feet. Nicely done. Thomas going to follow that. He's close enough that he can throw a pretty much pure hyzer and pins it. That'll bring him to 12 down. Nicely
What
done.
a park job. Seems to be a trend here on the last couple holes. My second shot from the woods, throwing a sidearm.
Forehand from the knees. Garrett also going forehand. Surprised not to see him throw a little chip rock backhand or something.
That's one we don't see out of him very often, so it's good to see him pull it out every now and again.
Oh, Nick. That would have been a good finish, huh?
Yep. Get your last one and get out of there, but a little low, unfortunately.
Good news about disc golf is you always make the last putt of your round. I think by rule you have to. So you're going to make your next one, and that's a success in and of itself. Garrett to go to 13.
Looks like he's putting a little more focus into this last putt here.
Yeah. It's short, but sometimes at the end of a long day you can let your focus slip away. So good to see Garrett taking the time that he needs, giving every shot the respect that it deserves. So Paul out in front shoots a 6 down for the round, 17 down overall. Garrett's going to be in second for the tournament, and Thomas tied for third with Adam Durham at 12 down. They've kind of gapped the pack a little bit away from the chase card, but still a lot of folks in contention for good finish to wrap up the year. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you'll watch the final round. We'll be back at Snyder Park. For Gatekeeper Media, I'm Andrew Fish.
And I'm Nick Hanson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next round.